Hayes, known as his Fraudulency, took office after the most disputed election in American presidential history. I credit Hayes with ending Reconstruction and making progress in civil service reform. But before we go further, if you have not already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel, as it would help me out greatly. And if you already have, thank you and welcome back. Thank you for your continued support. Now let's jump into it. Let's begin by discussing the extremely heated election of 1876, which saw Hayes be given the win over Samuel Tilden. Before getting into the election itself, tensions were already high. Being just 11 years removed from the Civil War, the nation had not yet fully recovered. As the election drew nearer, people knew it would be close, so Southern Democrats straight up murdered an estimated 150 African Americans Republicans to prevent them from voting for Hayes. The election was one of the most contested in U.S. history. Tilden, the Democratic candidate, won the popular vote undisputably, and was just one electoral vote shy from winning the presidency. However, 20 electoral votes from 4 states were still disputed due to allegations of voter fraud and intimidation. Both parties claimed victory in those states, leading to a major political crisis. To solve the problem, Congress created a special electoral commission made up of 15 members from the House, Senate, and Supreme Court. The commission voted along party lines to award all of the disputed electoral votes to Hayes, giving him a narrow victory by just 1 electoral vote. Despite how close this election was, Tilden conceded the race very peacefully, but his supporters did not. This result outraged many Democrats and led to widespread protests. Behind the scenes, a deal was struck, known as the Compromise of 1877. In the deal, Democrats agreed to accept Hayes as president if he removed federal troops from the South. This compromise ended Reconstruction and allowed Southern states to pass laws that would harm African Americans for decades. Hayes was awarded the victory just 2 days before Inauguration Day in March, so you had 4 months of the nation vigorously claiming their side had won and on the edge of another civil war. But despite how close it was, Hayes' term was still 1,461 days, just like every single term president, and in that term, he played a major role in ending Reconstruction after the Civil War. In 1877, the South was still occupied by federal troops to protect the rights of newly freed African Americans. Once the troops left, Southern leaders quickly took back control of their governments. Without federal protection, many African Americans lost their political rights and faced harsh discrimination. Hayes believed that peace between the North and the South was more important than continuing Reconstruction. Civil service reform was a movement to make government jobs based on merit instead of political connections. Before the reform, many people got government jobs through the spoils system, where politicians gave jobs to friends and supporters. This system often led to corruption and unqualified workers in important positions. Hayes believed that government jobs should be earned through skill and honesty. He tried to stop the spoils system by appointing qualified people and pushing for changes in how workers were hired. Hayes also ordered an investigation into government jobs and how they were being given out. He banned federal workers from being forced to take part in political campaigns. This made many powerful politicians angry, especially in his own Republican Party. Even though he faced resistance, Hayes' efforts helped to start a larger reform movement. His actions laid the groundwork for the future laws like the Pendleton Act after his presidency. In 1880, Hayes chose not to bid for re-election. He believed that presidential terms should actually be 6 years with no re-election, so that presidents could focus on serving out their terms as opposed to campaigning for re-election. While originally campaigning in 1876, Hayes said that he would retire after 1 term, but he reaffirmed that idea after the hostile election. Hayes believed that the nation was too divided and could not undertake another hostile election. In 1880, Ulysses Grant ran for a non-consecutive 3rd term, the first guy to ever do that, but he was denied by his own party. Click here to find out how.